What's up guys? In this video, just like the title says, I'm going to show you how I made $2,700 from money just sitting in an investment account. I was literally building wealth and I really didn't have to do much at all. If you're new to my channel, I create content full of value whether you're in high school, college, or just interested in learning something new. And guys, make sure you stay till the end because I'm going to show you how I'm going to turn all this money sitting in my account into millions of dollars. Alright everyone, let's not waste any time because I have a ton of information to share with you. So without further ado, let's get right into it. Just a quick disclaimer before I move forward, I'm not a financial advisor, this isn't financial advice. And when it comes to investing, past performance does not guarantee future performance. So check it out, this is a screenshot of my portfolio from my brokerage account. I started investing almost a year ago and I literally just put money in this account and left it sitting there and I made all of that. So obviously the first thing you might be asking is, Muad, how did you make all this money? The answer is actually really straightforward. It's these things called index funds. Index funds are one of the easiest and low risk ways you can get started investing for the long term. And the best part is, the earlier you start investing in them, the more you can make down the line. Now, before you get scared and think, oh, I don't know anything about stocks and investing, or it's too complicated, index funds are some of the simplest things you can learn. And once you figure out how they work, it's super easy from there. If I can do it, then you can do it. By the way, any term I mention in this video that confuses you, just go to investopedia.com and they break down all kinds of investing terminology. So let's break down exactly what index funds are. Now, if you look at the stock market, there's these things called stock indexes. If you've ever heard someone say, oh, the Dow is up today, or it's down today, they're talking about the Dow Jones, that's a stock index. Now, stock indexes are usually composed of top stocks of certain categories. For example, the Dow makes up 30 of the most traded stocks in the New York Stock Exchange, like Apple, Nike, and Coca-Cola. Another really popular one you've probably heard of is the S&P 500. It includes stocks like Facebook and Etsy. So these stocks and stock indexes are used to measure the stock market. Okay, so why do these stock indexes matter so much? Well, in the mid to late 1900s, this guy named John Bogle created the first index that was available for the public to invest. Well, what does that mean for you? Well, when you invest in stocks, one safe rule you really want to have is you want to diversify your stocks, diversify your portfolio. But you can't invest in every single stock in a stock index unless you're like crazy rich. So instead of investing in each stock, you can invest in a stock fund for a much more affordable price. Your stock fund will make up smaller shares of all the stocks, but you don't have to pay the full price for each individual stock. Okay, cool. I know all this, but why should I invest in index funds? Like, what guarantees that I'm going to get money? Well, simply put, over the long term, say an average of 10 years, the stock market has in the past given you a 7 to 10% return on your money, depending on which index fund you're invested in. So that means if I started investing in a fund and I put in $1,000 in 1 year, I would get on average the 10% of that $1,000, which is $100. Now, here's the magical part. Remember how in the beginning of this video I told you I was going to show you how all of this money was going to turn into millions of dollars? Well, check it out. If I choose to reinvest that $100 that I made from the $1,000 I invested back into my investment account, something crazy called compounding happens. The money you initially invested and the money that you reinvested causes an exponential growth of earnings over a long period of time. Now, if that didn't make any sense at all, I'll show you what I mean. We're going to go to Google and search compound interest calculator. Let's just click on this one and check it out. Okay, so say I invested $1,000 in an index fund and every month I contributed $500. Let's say I did this over a 10-year period. And right here for interest rate, this would be the percentage I would get back from the stock market. So earlier we said 7 to 10%. Let's just say 10%. We'll set this to monthly and press calculate. So look, with the magic of compound interest, over time you would have invested $61,000, but you would actually get a return of over $40,000, which puts your portfolio at over $100,000. Now, the awesome thing about this is that the longer you leave your money in your account and you keep investing, the more that exponential effect grows. So let's skip to 40 years from now, which I would be around 60 years old. This is when you would theoretically retire. So by the time I'm 60, according to this, I would have invested about $250,000 and I would get a return of over $3 million. Like, wow, that's insane, right? So now the reason I made so much over the last year is check out this stock market index. This is a total stock market index, and this is one of the funds I've invested in. And you can see based on this, the market has been doing crazy well since it crashed from the pandemic in March. Now, of course, if I would have invested that money and the stock market did poorly, then I would have probably lost some money. And I did in fact lose some money in the beginning because the stock market was going up and down. It wasn't really stable. But I'm not really worried about wins and losses because the way my investing strategy is set, which I think is the smartest strategy, is to invest for the long term, because we know in the long term that the stock market returns about an average of 7 to 10%, and it has over the last 140 years. And when you combine that with compounding interest, I think I'm going to get spot. Now, again, past performance is not a predictor of future performance in stocks, but I feel like I'm in a pretty good place with over 140 years of major companies like Microsoft and Google depending on investors like me to buy stocks and drive the market in an upward trend over the long term. Now you might be asking, okay, cool, I know all this stuff. How do I get started in investing in index funds? Well, the first thing you should do is find an online brokerage. Personally, I invest with Vanguard because I like their funds. They have certain funds like VTI, which have super low fees and commissions. You can choose to invest in either index funds that are mutual funds or exchange trade funds, or ETFs for short, which are really similar to mutual funds but actually cheaper and easier to buy into. I recommend, if you're a total beginner to all this stuff, then watch a bunch of YouTube videos on some of the terms I mentioned in this video, read things on Investopedia.com, and check out what people are saying on sites like Reddit, and also check out this book. It's called Get a Financial Life by Beth Kobliner. It's a great book to start with if you want to know more about some of the investing topics that I've mentioned in this video, but it also has a lot of great information on everything, whether that's budgeting or retirement. It's super valuable, and especially if you want to be wealthy in the long term, and if you want to have a financially successful life. So I would encourage you to also check out all the resources that I mentioned. And to be honest, this really isn't an investing channel, so I'm not going to go into any more details than I already have. I could talk about emergency funds or Roth IRAs, but I'm not, because there's so many other channels that are built specifically for that, and there's much more information out there on those topics. I just wanted to shoot some value your way and empower you with the ability to start learning and discovering things on your own. Guys, thank you if you watched this video all the way through. I've left links in the description for all the major resources that I've mentioned. Please leave a like and comment to give me feedback on anything you think I missed, anything you want to know for future videos, or anything you think I personally need improvements on. And make sure to subscribe if I send some value your way today, because I'll definitely be sending more in upcoming videos. That's all for now. Peace out.